appreciate you guys having us up again this year after what you suffered through last year with us, as we get to. Those things aren't fun for anybody. I understand that, especially the young men that are playing. I think we have changed a lot of things for the good. I'm just going to take this out. There we go. Starting with our speed and strength programs, it has paid great dividends for our athletes. We made a major commitment last year to track and field when we got here, and anyone that knows our program, the things that we've stood for, and the places that we've been. Track and field has always had tremendous success, and it's the backbone of everything that you do athletically, running and jumping. Whether it's basketball, baseball, football, soccer, it doesn't matter. If you can outrun and outjump your competition in every aspect, you got a chance to win all the time. And that's the basis of what we did. We committed to that last spring when we had 67 young men participate in our track and field program here. We were the district runner-up to Huffman-Hargrave by 3 points. At the varsity level, we put a full JV team in, and we're district runner-ups by 7 points in that division. We were district champions in 8 individual events or relay events, runner-up in 4 others, and then 4th or 5th in all the other events. So it was a great improvement. And we use that as the nucleus of the basis for what we're doing right now. The competition daily, track and field is great for it because it's a very individual sport, but everything counts towards a team total constantly, and so you get a lot of benefit athletically from that because of you're battling yourself each day in your preparation and the competitions, as well as you're battling for the team at the end of the meet on the total outcome, everything, as well as on the relays. You've got a group of people that you're running with too. Every one of the young men that participated in our track program last year are all with us right now. We had no seniors that wanted to compete, no seniors that wanted to participate. So it's kind of obvious why there's a difference. This group of young men love competing, they love practicing, they love working with us and for us daily, and it showed the other night in the football contest. They weren't perfect. It didn't look real smooth and fluid at times, but the inevitable thing was how it finished at the end. Had a chance to fold up and pack our bags and go to the house, even to the point of with 50 seconds left, when we gave up a score and went behind for the first time the entire night. They just simply, jogged back out there, lined up, and started off with a kickoff return and worked right down the field. And 5 plays later, with 5 seconds left, we snapped the ball and scored a game-winning touchdown. So it's been a long, long time since that personality, that mental toughness, as well as the ability to make those plays and do those things, has happened in a long time. And so the game itself is a building block for what we're going to continue doing. But the foundation for that was laid last spring when we got in here and started trying to change the culture and the mindset about the commitment to hard work on a daily basis. Show up every day to your job site with your lunch kit and expect to work as hard as you can and go home at the end of the day feeling good about what you did. And it's starting to show. Last year we had outstanding 9th grade and a sophomore. So we played a JV team of 31 sophomores last year and kept them all together. And there were a lot of people that questioned that move, which is normal. That's okay. It's a question of the fact that we kept all those 9th graders here. We did not move any 9th or 10th graders up. And there was a method to that madness and a reason for it. and one team went 8-1 or 8-2, the other went 9-1, and now it's perpetuating itself now in what's taking place. Our 8th grade team program last year was outstanding also, and it's showing forth. They went through the same thing because we were over there with them each morning. Our 8th grade athletics period is first period of the junior high, and the coordinators and myself were over there each morning with them, and the 8th grade coaches all year long. So it is starting to show forth. It's still a process. It's still a project, but there's definitely light peeking through that tunnel. And our freshman team won in a dominant fashion Thursday night against Cleveland, 34-8, and it could have been 60-8, but there's no reason for that. JV team battled like crazy and came out on top 28-22. So it's the building blocks are in place, and it's starting to, the walls are coming up, and it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be ups and downs because of the youth. We've got about 7 or 8 sophomores. In fact, on the last drive of the game, when we went down and made the game-winning drive to score, there were only 3 seniors on the field. So it's coming forth. It's showing they conducted themselves well. I think the crowd was exceptional. We got a 140-member band, and they never stopped blowing their horns and beating their drums. It was a fun experience for everybody there, and they were into it. I mean, up till the last second, and then afterwards, we truly had a real celebration afterwards, after the game, instead of kind of what's been taking place here for a long time, where everybody just kind of mills around, hangs out, and takes pictures after a 50-point loss. There was a reason for being down there and celebrating. So the celebration moved from the field with the players and the stands with the spectators and fans down to the field house in front, where there was some joy and some tears and some happiness. There was a bunch of emotion down there, and it was all good stuff. And that's what your high school competitive athletics is supposed to be about. That feeling, that joy, that camaraderie of the entire crowd, men, women, children, the little ones, the grandparents, everybody that was there had an incredible experience Friday night because, number one, of course, because of the outcome, the results. I'm not stupid. I understand that, but the entire, it never stopped from the very start, first play till the very last, when the clock hit zeros and it was like slow motion. If you ever seen a car wreck, that's what it looked like. It just, you didn't think it was ever going to come down and be caught and held on to, and you still wait. You weren't sure the referee was going to put his hands up for signal touchdown, because all they'd been doing was throwing flags all night long, and which we deserve some of them. But it was a well penalized game, I'll say that. But it was a super slow motion on that last play, kind of like witnessing a car wreck, and you just didn't know for sure if he was going to put his hands up for the final score or not. And then it was really humorous when he comes waddling up to me there at the end, the referee, and if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. He came waddling up to me and wanted to know if I wanted to kick an extra point. And I said, you got to be kidding me. Let's just go home. We've all had enough. This is it. Go to the house. You don't need an extra point with no time left on the clock. Let's all go home. And so it was a great start. Like I said, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't flawless. It wasn't smooth as silk. But those 33 young men that were out there, they still this moment think it was flawless and perfect. And it's been an easy week to practice this week. Finally, for the first time in a long time, they're not even talking about how hot it is out there now. It's amazing what success drives motivation. And those of you who were there or listened to the radio broadcast or whatever, we thank you. It was special. It really was. We go down to Orangefield this week. There's no difference in them. I've been dealing with those guys for since 1980. It's the same folks, grandkids, sons and grandkids and nephews of folks that I've known coached against there forever. They're all oil-filled, roughneck folks, and they will get after you in a heartbeat. And they're big and strong and physical and just boring, and they just hammer away and try to beat you down, and that's what we're facing. And then we come home the following week against Liberty for 3 straight home games. And so we'd love to have all of you guys out. Bring a crowd. There's going to be activities each and every week at the home games. I think there's going to be the very first home game. We are making a difference this year. The very first home game we're dividing up because our groups have gotten so large, and with recognition of things, we're dividing the senior night into 2 different games this year. The athletic portion of the football, the cheerleaders, the trainers, those folks will have their senior night, the very first home game of the year. And the very last home game of the year, which is the 9th of the next to last game, but it's the last home game, I think Little Cypress, I believe, Bridge City, will be banned, and all the auxiliary groups will do their senior night. Because we're just allotted so much time to do that, to do all those recognitions, and our groups have gotten so big, and a lot of the other organizations that we don't have enough time to get them in. So we're going to split those up. I've done it pretty much that way about the last 15 years. The other places I've been, and it worked real well. So we're going to implement that this year. So next week, that very first home game of a 3-week stand against Liberty will be senior night for all of the athletes, the cheerleaders, the trainers. And then the last one of the year will be senior night for band and auxiliary. So it'll be a little different, but it'll be a lot better because it won't be in such a drastic rush to get them in before we have to start reading those UIL announcements at a 1:45. So anyway, that kind of summarizes it quickly and give you some information on things coming. We play. We only have 1 home game in October, and so that's the pink out, the cancer recognition game. Our little the Kinder Lions, the little kids run on thing activity will be the week of the Jasper game. It'll be right in the middle of the 3 home games, and then the homecoming is that 3rd home game in a row versus Huntington. This year's the homecoming game, and there's a lot of activities planned for those, and there's the set of small grandstands down at the end zone opposite the scoreboard. There's 2 sets of grandstands down on the field level in that end zone down there that were put there a few years back for overflow crowds, and when you guys were in the district with Port Neches and Needle and those people. And those have been designated now special event area. So if a group like the class of, what is it? Class of
99
has their activities, that homecoming situation, instead of trying to rope off a place up in the middle of the crowd and all the yin about, well, that's my seat, or I've been, excuse me, we're up. Those are going to be the special event bleachers, just for that. And no one's going to be allowed down there unless it's part of that special event group every week. It's not going to be a spillover for little kids or the junior high, elementary kids that run and play, because you can't be down on the field anyway. We got to start with today's activities, activities of today's society. We got to be extremely careful. Extremely careful with crowd control situations, and that hadn't been the norm here for a long time, as far as allowing people to just roam after they've gotten games rolled with out onto the field. You can't do that. By rule, it's not ever supposed to happen. Okay, but it's also by rule that we're supposed to have all seating fenced away from the playing field also. So we've got some issues that we're constantly dealing with legally, as well as through our UIL, our governing board, on what is allowable and how we're going to handle it, and having a plan for it, emergency plans and all that kind of stuff. So there's some steps are going right now, and part of the situation is with the crowd things, and the seating part will be kind of our first step towards that. And at the end of the games, At the end of the games, they're not going, they can't just wander out and you can't have 7,000 people on the field, okay? You can't have 700 on the field. Once it's over, it's over. The law enforcement are there'll be some announcements made continually throughout the course of the game. But at the end of the game, they can go down to the edge of the end down there by the old concession area, the Booster Club building. That's that area down where the green pipe rail fence is that doesn't stop anybody from doing anything. And they can mix and mingle, and they can take all their little snapshots, all that kind of stuff. But there will be 15 minutes put on the clock, folks. And in 15 minutes, the lights are going to start going off, and the police are going to start saying, "Let's go, everybody out, everybody out, everybody out, everybody out," and everybody's got to help. I mean, spread the word. You know, don't get your feelings hurt. Don't get all ruffled up. We got to start doing it the right way, and God forbid if something ever was to happen. And so we got to clean our act up a little bit on how we handle crowd situations, especially in a venue like our old stadium. So that's what this is all about and what it's for. It's preparation, trying to get things done the right way in a first class, legal and safe manner. That's what the whole thing is, where it's a fun place to come watch and take part and celebrate. And then when it's over, we go to the house. You know, we go to the house. That's it. Anybody got anything you want to add or ask? I'll do it. If you would just speak up. I can't hardly hear my ears and throats.
What about injury situations? Y'all do pretty good?
We're in great shape as far as that goes. We got one shoulder dinged up that came out, went right back in. They'll be out for probably 10 days, and it's just because of soreness. No severity other than that. But lots of cramps. When you have a group as small as we have numbers-wise, okay? You have to be prepared for them. Your body's going to fight back against you, and there's a difference in being in shape and being in great physical condition to play 90-something snaps, as opposed to, well, I just play this one position and I play 30, 45 plays. Now we've got 85% of our kids don't ever leave the field, okay? Because we don't have 70. We've got 33 on the roster and 31 dressed out. So they're there for a reason, and they won the spots. They're the best ones we've got, and the other 20 are playing on Thursday night, and that's it. And so, if you're looking for a ticket out of the game, you don't need to be out there anyway. We need our best folks on the field at all times and sub as we can, and we did a great job with that. We had 31 on the roster, and 30 guys played significantly, which means more than 20 plays each the other night. And some of them weren't ready for that. They thought they were, but you throw in the fact of that incredible humidity that was down there, with all the storms that were around us and the heat. We thought we were going to lose a few of them to hydration and cramp problems, and so we've been pouring bananas and pickles and mustard to them like crazy, because those are the best remedies for it. Dill pickles and bananas. You'd be shocked at what it can do. And squeeze tubes of mustard, it's really amazing. But I know a lot of people don't believe that. They didn't either.
Never used that.
We saved a bunch of them at halftime because of it. They thought I was a complete fool, but they were willing to try it because they were hurting. And it got us through another quarter and a half, and then that last 8 minutes we were hanging on. If you saw it, if you were there, it looked like a war zone back behind me. They were laying everywhere and cramping, and it gets a little embarrassing at times. But anyway, we're gonna come through that. We're gonna come through that in the next 2 weeks. We got yes, sir. Pretty much. It was hard on them. We had band members falling out. We had the EMT were servicing people in the bleachers, on the ground. It was quite a scene.
Back in our day, we used salt tablets. What's the deal with salt tablets? How does that?
We don't do those anymore. Me and you had to do that back then. They'd run me off if I fed them salt tablets. The potassium part is the most important thing, and, salt tablets, used to, we didn't get any water, here, eat them, get a mouthful. No, just get a handful, you'd eat those old pink nasty salt tablets, and just share a cup of water. Well, I can't do that anymore. We have to shut down every 25 minutes and give them a 5-minute break, and full fluid break, every day, that's every day. I mean, that's daily, you gotta do that constantly. And then, game time, it's all things dealing with all the sports, and I'm not pushing a brand, but like Gatorade has the different levels of those compounds in them for pre-game, during the game, after the game, all that kind of stuff. So, and yeah, there's salt in it, but no more on the salt tablets.
Coach, what's your breakdown of your team?
We have 12 seniors. Of the 33, there's 12 seniors, and there's 14 sophomore, 14 juniors, and the rest are sophomores. Yes, sir.
Are we going to play quarterback by committee, or have you decided on
We
it?
just about got it narrowed down to 2 right now. It went from 5 to 3 to about 1 1/3 the other night. So we had one that was out for the last 2 weeks. He had an incredible abscess tooth. He cannot handle antibiotics, and so it almost sepsis type stuff. I mean, he was in trouble for about 3 weeks. He just started back yesterday, so he's kind of out of kilter. He's not. We were working with 5 upper class from sophomore up quarterbacks, and knowing that would pare it down to 2 with each group, the varsity and the JV, but they're all skilled enough athletes that they all know they're going to play at another spot, both on offense as well as defense. Whoever's the number 1 guy will not. He'll stand by me and give me water all night long when he's not playing. The rest of them will play multiple positions. Yes, sir.
Did you win 4A Coach of the Week? Did I see that correct? I did, I just asked you. Whoa.
The kids play good enough for that to happen. Yes. Each week, Dave Campbell's magazine out of Dallas-Fort Worth, kind of the grandfather of all high school and college sports publications in the United States, does a weekly by division honor. And just because of all the things that have taken place here in the last few years, it kind of threw a target or a spotlight. I don't know which one it is, but on us. So the boys played their absolute hearts out. It took every ounce of everything they had till the very last tick of the clock to make it happen, and they found a way. Last few years they haven't been able to do that, including last year. And so things are changing, things are coming for the better. Don't get crazy and think we're going to jump out and be 8-0 and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be like this. We're going to deal with as many young kids as we've got, and many pigs are having to put in holes and plug in the dike and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to smooth out. But their passion to play is there, and that's what we were missing: the passion to play and the belief in themselves and their teammates on either side of them. And now that's starting to happen. And so y'all done a great job raising these kids, and I'm still flattered and honored that I have a very small role in being able to work with them every day. And I thank y'all for having us up here. Listen to your radio stations this week down at Orangefield, and then we'll be home for 3 weeks in a row. We'd love to have y'all there. Nothing would be better than having a standing room only place. And Marty and those guys have to tell us, Coach, we can't let anybody else come in. That'd be a great favor. The fire marshal says no more, so that'll be fine.
Coach, I want you to tell people just how much difference there was between last year and this year in the school. I've read some of these people don't know. Just give us
We don't need to be reminded.
I I want you to see here on the Shepherd games, the scores last year, the margin of loss for the entire season was 50 points per game. 50 points per game. The average score of every game last year was 57-7 against 10 in a row. And it wasn't any better the year before. And it wasn't much better 3/4 of the year before that. So just to make that happen and to dominantly play as well as we did all 3 games from Thursday night on, it is a tribute to what the kids, what the boys are believing in and doing.
And a tribute to the coach.
We just drive them to the game, we can get them there. So thank y'all.
Thank you.